Hello? Can anyone around here speak basketball?
There it is.
It's the Confederacy of Dunks Basketball Podcast.
We're going back to back. Welcome to the Confederacy of Dunks
Basketball Podcast. Ooh, almost threw me off
I am
there.
your host, Freddie Rivas. And who, sir, are you?
I'm the producer, Matt Duncan. And wow, I guess we're just throwing each other off right now.
Yeah, am I cracking you up or what? What's going on
no,
over there?
I guess the pauses, it threw me off a little bit. So I guess I just volleyed that tennis ball right back to you.
Hey, baby, nothing funnier than a pregnant pause, right?
Yes.
So, if you're tuning in, you're checking us out, thank you.
Thanks.
If you want to continue to do so, Matt, where are people going to find our stuff? Just on the ground or?
Well, the ground is one place that's not going to help us very much. If you do see it there, pick it up, go to dunkspodcast.com. All our links are there for all the ways to subscribe. Just listen on your favorite podcatcher, and we'll just keep coming in week after week with some fun basketball knowledge.
I like it. And what if they're like, oh, my head is so cold and so I don't want it to be itchy.
Is it starting? I mean, it did get a little bit cooler today, so I guess we can bring the fact that we do have some of the Confederacy of Dunks toques. We do have the merch. And, winter is coming if you ever watch Game of Thrones.
That's right.
So we do need to prepare always. And you know what? It's good to test them out in the heat as well because they are anti-itch toques, the only ones of their kind. So, it's practically a magic trick you want to buy.
That's right. And if people want to, they want to go all the way in on us as an investment. They want to help us grow and buy big towers in big cities.
Just get bigger mics, bigger headphones.
That's right.
More sound effects. Yeah, that would be our Patreon. If you want to become a subscriber on our Patreon, we've got a bunch of different tiers where you get a little bit more the higher you go up. And, we even created a cheaper one where you can just throw us a couple bucks and, just be a part of the team and support us. And we'll give you a nice shout out for that.
That's right.
Okay.
And scrimmages are back.
Scrimmages are back.
Happening in the bubble.
Are they done? We're done with scrimmages for the Raptors, right?
We're done.
Yeah.
There might be a couple more scrimmages tonight, but the Raps are done. What's popping? Jack Harlow, Lou Williams. We will get to that for sure. Before we kind of jump into the podcast, just touching base on some of the things we've been covering in our podcast intros, and that's of course Black Lives Matter, defund the police, and we're thinking about everyone who's protesting in Portland right now. Obviously the wall of vets, the wall of moms, all the walls of people who didn't get a Facebook or Twitter meme. We're thinking about you. We support you. Scary times for a lot of folks standing up to police right now. But in a positive note, I think I told listeners maybe a couple of weeks ago that me and my partner had signed up to get the Food Share veggie box, Smashing White Supremacy. Mm-hmm. We have not received the box yet.
Yeah,
but
it's coming.
We were in the waiting list, and now that's over. And actually, we got a message that's saying that's their operations are really growing. So, Food Share, Smashing White Supremacy box. Go out and get yourself one, and maybe we can send each other pictures of what we make. Who knows?
Oh, maybe I'll get in on this. Do they deliver to the GTA?
They better, and they're expanding. So if they don't, be like, I really wish you could get that Smashing White Supremacy box down in Newmarket. You know what I mean? Because they'd be like, holy shit, people in Newmarket, they get it too.
Yeah, they definitely need it here.
Hell yeah. Well, I mean, without further ado, lots of fun basketball stuff to talk about. And let's see if I can do this a little bit smoother than I do the intros or the send off at the end of the pod. But Maddie, if you're ready, say the words, okay.
Okay.
Okay, right. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the pod. Let's get hopping here on the first guest. I'm gonna bring him in because his background on Zoom is so hilarious and amazing, and I feel like that's just a good jumping off point. Actually, both my guests are on the east side of Toronto, so we got a nice fun east-west thing going on. Sorry. I don't even know what kind of crappy intro this is. The next guest is amazing. His name's Alan Shane Lewis. He's hilarious in every regard. Follow him on everything and give it up as loud as you can for Alan Shane Lewis.
I'm gonna let my sting play out. That was nice. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. And honestly, I think you owe me money for how hot that intro was. Fair?
Fair. Yeah, fair point. I'll give you a quarter serve for that.
Okay.
Freddie, I'm surprised you haven't brought up the bump game in a while. Usually every few times you see Alan, you have to bring it up.
You know what? It's pretty good that you're bringing that up right now. Because I should say, me and Alan are officially even. We are in a shared NBA 2K league.
Oh,
and I don't know what to do. Like I'm not very good at the game. I'm also not very good at like the system, like navigating that kind of stuff. And I got an invite from what I thought was a comedian, Patrick Hakeem, and I was playing him, and I was honestly doing pretty good. Durant was going off, but I was doing all right for me, which is like down 15. But then I kept getting these invites from Patrick Hakeem, and Alex Pavone kept saying like, what are you doing? Like, so I thought I was doing something wrong. So then I pressed like the main PlayStation button and went out and joined the game from Patrick Hakeem, thinking it was going to bring Alex Pavone's audio in so we could all talk.
yeah.
Anyways, all very complicated. But what actually happened was I was playing with Alan, who must have been taking it easy on me. And then we made it to the fourth quarter, and it was like, I think 3 minutes to go. Yeah. And I just basically quit the game.
Did you not hear me during the whole game?
No.
No, eh? I was talking. I was having a full conversation. Like, yeah, good play, buddy.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I was like, I guess he doesn't have headphone or a microphone, but he can hear my voice.
Oh man, that's so paying it forward on your part. You're like, Freddie, I know Freddie can relax to my voice.
Yeah.
I'll just be kind to him. And I repaid you by wasting, I guess, solid 40 minutes of your time.
You know, we had fun. We played for fun.
Yeah, well, I actually tried really, really hard. You were probably playing for fun, but I did pretty good. But let's bring on guest number 2. He's been on the podcast a bunch. Also super hilarious. Since I said it for Alan, also lives in the East End. So we're doing East End, West End thing. You know what I mean? Don Valley Pod. Let's just bring him on. He he's a basketball savant, and he has a really cool overhead shot, which goes in a lot. Give it up for Matt McCready. Yeah. What's up, buddy?
I always say something during the intro song, but I kind of blanked there. Thanks for having me on. I don't play NBA 2K, but I love Overcooked 2. So if anyone wants to play with me in that, I'm open.
Sorry, you know what? I loved Overcooked 1. But
I can play that too.
I would also like Overcooked 2, right?
You would. It's just the same game, but they tweaked a little bit of stuff. It just kind of flows a little bit better. The controls are a little bit tighter.
That's a great game to break up to if you like it. Like if you're dating somebody, you just both play that game at a party. That's just a good way to find all the troubles. Like, you know, like you have a cut in your mouth and you have a lemon. Yeah, it's so stressful.
And I get to a point where like I stop communicating and I start stealing the other people's stuff and doing it for them.
Yeah,
Like it's like if you're not chopping fast enough, I'll belly your person out of the way and start chopping.
How are they not chopping fast enough? That seems like a pretty automated part of the game. But.
I know, right?
It's a button. It's a button. Like I've worked in kitchens before, so like I know kind of like, all right, you got your prep station, you do your thing and move it on. But if you're not like, figuring it out, I'm like, okay, well, I'm just tuning out. I'm doing my own thing.
Yeah.
We're going to lose it. It's not my fault. That's all I'm going to say.
I would like to go 2-on-2 though. That would be fun.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Okay. Let's jump into some basketball because since, the pandemic started, this is the first podcast where we're actually talking about on-court basketball that isn't, horse or The Last Dance. Matt, if you got that Raptors sting, sorry.
So the horse game was pretty disappointing looking back at it, I was kind of excited when I first heard about it.
Me too. I totally dug it and watched it, but reflecting back, I'm like, oh, I see. Real basketball is much more entertaining.
I mean, I love the big three, so my standards are low, and I didn't like the horse game too much.
Okay, well, the big three was great. I think we can all agree.
Me and Freddie fight about the big three all the time. I love the big three.
And I hate it so much. I'm trying to cancel the league.
Really? Four-point play. Let's do it.
No. I don't mind the big three at all. Matt just knows so much more about it, so it makes me look bad. Okay, let's talk some Raptors. Duncan, if you got that Raptor sting, would you give it to me? Dun, dun, dun. Is that well done? Okay, let's go to you first, Alan. The last scrimmage just ended. The Raptors lost to Phoenix. I think Pascal played the most minutes at 25 minutes, so nobody cracked 26 minutes. Nurse clearly, wasn't hell bent on busting out his finest zones or having a strict rotation. Everybody played. I saw that, Watson got minutes and, it was a full kind of everyone gets to play affair. Then you have the two wins against Portland and against Houston, who we played first. What's your feelings from the scrimmages? What was it like to see basketball again?
It was great. It was great to see them run again. It just goes to show you how deep this squad is and how you can just throw in different rotations. Seeing like Matt Thompson go, 4 for 4 behind the 3-point line, taking very like assertive 3-point jump shots like early into the clock was like fun to see. So I'm like really glad to see his development. And it was scary to see Freddie go down for a bit, but
yes.
I held my breath. I was just like, that would happen. But as did earlier in the season, we had injuries, but then you kind of just saw how different people would just step up and, the show would keep going on. So yeah, it was just good to see how deep the roster is. And no one's really lost their touch. They're all hitting 3-point shots and Serge is ready to fight on games that don't mean anything. I love it. I love seeing the intensity. Right?
So I mean, I thought someone was going to bring that up. Is that, do you have a favorite moment from the scrimmages? Is it just seeing the players? Is it Serge being like, I'm down to fight?
I think Serge ready to throw bows on Nurkic. Just like, I will do this here with no fans. I don't care. This means everything to me. I'm like, there's the passion that I want to see from my
yeah.
stars.
Serge being like, I understand a lot's going on, but get your hand out of my face. It's like really good.
It's like COVID's not the only thing you need to fear right now. Like he just had these fists up. I was ready to see that,
McCready, what about you? Do you have a favorite scrimmage moment, or is there kind of like, and just anything specific, or just kind of what's your takeaways?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a bit of a nihilist myself, and I was listening to the Duncan Hollinger podcast throughout the last few months, and they had this show all about different awards that you wouldn't necessarily see given out in the NBA. They did the smartest player, and they didn't label it the stupidest player out of respect, but they labeled it the least aware player. and they gave it to Stanley Johnson. And watching Stanley Johnson get his ankles broken and then airball 2 shots in a row was just classic Stanley. I really enjoyed seeing that. The game was already in hand. I felt great about the Raptors already. So it was just kind of funny to see Stanley Johnson go out there and really have no idea what to do on an NBA court. They had him playing point guard. It was the best.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Like I had a conversation with my brother after the first game, Thomas, and we were just like, oh my God, like, the Raptors, like everyone's amazing. And then we both just took a breath and we were like, damn, Stanley Johnson still sucks. Eh? Like, because like, he made a couple nice passes, like, he did a couple okay things, but then there's just something about him that seems like, I don't know, closer to me on a basketball court than like a professional.
Totally. To piggyback on Alan's comment, though, I really did like to see Matt Thomas go out there. He kind of, I feel like maybe not like JJ Redick, but maybe like a poor man's JJ Redick might be his future. Like, I don't know if his shot versatility is that of like JJ. I don't know if he can get it off like curling off of screens as quickly and as efficiently as JJ can. But I saw a lot of interesting stuff from him in that game.
Yeah, Matt Thomas, I think, is someone whose confidence is only growing, and we'll get to the rest of the league, but I think that early on it was an easy decision for most of the players and most of the staff to just launch threes as a way to kind of ease back into this. So I think in this particular setting, he's like, oh, we're launching threes. All right. I'm the best at that. And, and I think though, like, hopefully he can carry that confidence and be an unconscious shooter, even when the games are tight and it's like, we're down by 3 or something like that, because he's not a chucker either, which makes him, he's a really kind of interesting guy. Cause I think he can make the odd kind of like handoff. He's a decent passer. He's not a terrible dribbler. I think defense is basically, is always going to be his issue because he gets hunted for mismatches. He's
surprisingly feisty on the boards.
He is.
Like, there's these games where he gets like 6 or 7 rebounds. You're like, how did that even happen?
Totally.
Like shooters like that, they just know, like they can recognize a bounce off of a shot. They're like, okay, that's going to go off back rim, going to go off to the side. Just kind of knows where to go.
Yeah. The one play that always stands out to me, like there's a Western Conference play where Kobe misses and Meta World Peace rebounds, and Meta World was like, as soon as Kobe shot it, he was running to the spot where Kobe missed it. And it was
that guy's a basketball savant, man. Meta World Peace.
Oh my God,
fun guy to watch.
He's amazing. A basketball savant is actually, I think, a term that gets thrown around too much, but it's
you called me a basketball savant, and I'm bad at most elements of basketball.
Honestly, even though I say it once a pod, once per guest, basketball savant is thrown out way too much. No, but I was going to say, Meta World is that. Like, he's so clinical and.
See him in the Big 3 next summer.
Yeah, check him in the Big 3. I hate the Big 3, so I won't be watching. Cool. I was going to say one of my nice moments was actually seeing Jack and Devlin.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that was
intro
nice.
The game. I know that's kind of cheesy, and just seeing Kyle. Like, there's something about Kyle that is different for me than the rest of the players, where
Kyle looked like he was having a blast, like on the bench. He was just smiling so much.
Exactly. Like, seeing him have fun and also be really competitive. And, that moment where Portland decided to go big with Nurkic and Whiteside, and we just kind of like, we took a couple punches and then we just started nailing threes and we spread them out. Like, this team's IQ is so fun to watch, because maybe you can beat them for 4 or 5 minutes, but they'll adjust. And,
well, those two out there, you might as well go. If Carmelo's playing the 3 and you got Nurkic at the 4 and Whiteside probably like one of the least mobile players in the league at 5. Like, it seems to be like, you can look at that shot selection and be like, well, the Raptors were doing the easy thing and taking threes, but like, that's what you do against a team like that. I think it just shows the intelligence of the players and Nurse himself.
Totally. Okay, Matt, McCready, sorry, 2 Matts on one episode, it's a fun time.
It's every time I do the podcast, I'm used to it.
Yeah, and I'm not, apparently. But McCready, with these 8 games coming up, is there one game that you're kind of looking forward to more than the others, or?
Well, the
Are you kind of
first game
focusing-
against LeBron, it's pretty exciting to see a game in general that matters. That's going to be pretty fun. But outside of just that, I would go with Boston because it's the most important game for the Raptors. Like the only real movement they can make in the standings is to move down to 3. And obviously that would be Boston jumping them. And Boston got such a cream puff schedule that it's in play. It's not likely, but it's in play. But if the Raptors take that game, it's nearly impossible for Boston to pass them. So it's a big game.
Yeah, it's a huge game. And a lot of games to choose from too, because, the Bucks will probably be like a sort of measuring stick game, I guess, depending on who plays. Alan, is there any game that are you Boston, you Philly?
I think
Bucks,
like
Lakers?
my real answer is probably those guys, but just for fun, I'm going to switch it up and say the Nuggets. Just want to see Bol hit some threes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to
Michael
see
Porter Jr. has been looking good too.
Yeah. Honestly, all those injured reserve guys they had just sitting around are coming back, and they're legit top players. And I was a big fan of Bol, so much so that I got so mad in our 2K league when Chris Wilson drafted him, because I was like, I know the potential and secret of Bol. He's got a great high release, good threes. I've been watching his videos from Hoop Mixtape and Ball His Life for so long. I'm like, that's a mobile 7-2 with good range, legit range, and he can create for himself. So
okay, when he first after that scrimmage, when Bol it kind of first blew up, what I was confused about was people were kind of talking about it like it was a joke, but then when I watched the game, I was like, Bol is not a joke.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
he really can move well. His length is incredible, and his stroke doesn't look like. How Boucher shoots the 3 and it's kind of he knows. Yeah, exactly. Actually, McCready shoots like that, but he never misses. So it's pretty cool.
I'm a savant.
It's a savant thing.
Yeah.
I'm a savant because I shoot 30% on mid-range 2s. That's my savant skill.
Honestly, everyone's a savant if you're on this pod.
Underdog put that on a t-shirt. Let's go.
Yeah. Where were we at? So Bol is amazing.
He might average 10 turnovers a game, but other than that, I think he's great.
Yeah, are they going to start him at point too?
You would think so.
But I was going to say the team I was looking forward to the most was kind of the Laker game. But your guys' answers are better, because my answer, I didn't do enough standings research. And looking at it again, I was like, oh, that doesn't really add up. But I was going to say it would be nice for the Raptors to finish with the second best record in the NBA. If they could catch the Lakers, but then, I'm still in this weird home court thing. So it's not like we get what happened against Golden State, where that first game, at least you're in Toronto, but, I wonder.
The Raptors also completely beat up on the lower teams, during the season. I think there was something like 19-1 or something against the teams below 500. I can't remember what exactly the stat was. It was something like a 950 win percentage. And without those teams in the bubble, and the fact that the Raptors didn't get a Phoenix or a San Antonio on their schedule, I don't love their chances of catching LA unless LA really takes it easy, which is definitely a possibility. There's definitely a chance that they could fall down to 3.
Okay, McCready, last Raptors question. Do you have any playoff worries?
Oh, I think I just said that, but yes.
So for falling into the third and having to go through the tougher bracket?
Yeah, going through, you fall to third and then you have to go through Milwaukee in the second round. Who I think are just kind of getting shafted by a lot of media pundits in terms of how good they were this year.
Milwaukee would be, that's only if we fell to fourth. Because Milwaukee's I think they're clear in first.
You are right. Never mind then. But regardless,
it would be harder. Sorry.
Yes. I'd much rather play either Orlando or Brooklyn than Indiana, despite Sabonis's injuries.
100%. And it's I keep hearing different finals predictions and different odds, the Clippers odds and the Lakers odds. And I just feel like no one's factoring in enough that the 1 and 2 seeds of the East get a bye, and basically no other team in the playoffs does. And I think that's just massive. And especially experiencing a playoff run last time, like it was really important that we beat the Magic in 5, even though it was like not the, it was a pretty convincing, it was a gentleman's sweep, but yeah, like if you play Doncic in the first round, it's just such a ridiculous difference than playing Karis LeVert.
And even on the West side, if you're the first seed, you're playing the 8th, and whoever wins the 8th is the hottest team out of those 9 teams or whatever, or at the bottom. So you're playing a team that is playing its best basketball of the season, despite the fact that it doesn't have necessarily the star power of the other teams. Although Ja Morant has looked fucking deadly in Memphis so far.
Yeah. Alan, do you have any playoff worries?
I think we kind of saw it, like those type of injuries, those kind of freak things that can just, take off a player, and seeing all that rust being kind of shaken off from, I guess, 4 months of just like doing absolutely nothing, or you're hoping they did something. Just seeing players get back into game shape and just hoping that like everyone kind of holds up, even though I do believe that we are that deep that we can kind of recover from that. It just pains me to see players just go down after like all that. Cause like me personally, like I am so afraid to go back onto a court right now and just trying to jump or anything like that. Cause just like, I already seen a friend who tore his ACL just like going back hoop one day and just jumping off again. So I just want to, protect my babies, my rat babies. Just hopefully they're all good, I want to see them together.
Were you going to say something, McCready?
No, I would just, I said yikes to the ACL tear. Or the Achilles tear. Yeah. Sorry.
No, yeah. I mean, I was thinking more as far as like playoff worries. I was just thinking that, we kind of get into the zone. Like every podcast I listen to, every Raptors doubter says the same thing, which is that we're going to have a tough time finding clutch scoring in the half court in the playoffs against a good defense. And, if we play Boston, Miami, Philly, or Milwaukee, and maybe even Indiana, like we are going to play a really good defense. So I think that will be a problem. But I think I'm more on your side, Alan, is injuries. I think the healthiest team is going to win the championship this year. So I feel like the Raptors we're 8 deep, but it's a very shared 8. So it's not like, if the Clippers lose Lou Williams and we lose Fred, our loss is more substantial.
Yeah.
Because I think we need Fred, we need Norm, we need every little guy to kind of do their thing. Yeah. It's funny that I use the expression "little guy" because they're all bigger than me. But if going by schematic worries, I think one kind of came up in the game against Phoenix today. Namely, I was intrigued watching them when they brought up the starting lineup because Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges. I'm kind of a fan of both of them. Bridges is awesome.
Yeah. And even Johnson, Phoenix got crapped on so hard for making that pick. And in the moment, I didn't know much about Cam Johnson, but people were saying this moribund franchise was picking this awful player. And it kind of reminded me of when the Kings picked Papa G back in the day. I thought this guy might be a Papa G type of player, or even an Arujo, because they're he's older and he has injury history. But I mean, he's 6'7" or 6'9", and he can shoot 43% from 3. And if you're that tall, you're just less likely to be a problem on defense. And if you're that tall, you're also able to spread the floor even more so than a guy like Matt Thomas, who's 6'2", and able to shoot the same degree. But anyways, so back to the Raptors. They were spaced out, and the Raptors give up the most corner threes in the league. Which could be a result of the fact that the Raptors play really good defense, and that might be the one thing that is there at the very end of the shot clock. Yeah. But it's also schematically something that can happen because they do encourage a lot of gambling and a lot of double teaming in the half court as well. So if we go up against a team who has incredible shooting on the wings, it could be a problem for the Raptors in the playoffs defensively.
Yeah, no, that's a good. I mean, and Miami, Milwaukee, and Boston, they have shooters. Sorry, Alan. Yeah, you had something?
I was going to say, the shooters in the East.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Philly will be like,
Yeah,
okay, can you stop Korkmaz? Can you stop Korkmaz from hitting some threes? All right, we're good.
Yeah, if Korkmaz is the biggest problem we have with Philly, I'm okay with that series.
Okay,
A good way to stop Josh Richardson from hitting 3-pointers is picking in your fantasy draft. Just do that, and you'll just stop doing that for.
Oh my God, I had Richardson for like a month or two in one of my leagues, and I was like, "Excuse me." I thought it was a situation where there was another Jay Richardson on Philly on my team. And I was like, who is this John Richardson? Yeah. And then I looked it up. I was like, oh, that is him, the guy in Miami who's amazing.
Like, okay, that's cool. You're just gonna not do this? Okay,
sure. Yeah.
Well, I didn't play fantasy this year, but I was playing as this alligator cook in Overcooked 2. And boy, he was a real stinker.
Oh yeah, the alligator cook's no good. He wants everything to have that like bayou flavor, and he's just very crocodile-y. Sorry, I tried to make an alligator crocodile joke. It fell flat.
Hey, I'm sorry I derailed the podcast as much as I did with that sidebar. So please continue.
No, let's continue. Let's move on to some NBA stuff. Maddie, if you got that NBA sting, give it to me.
Faxing beside you, Jerry.
I like how focused you were there, Mr.
Oh,
Mr.
you know what?
Duncan.
Sometimes I forget that I'm on the camera. I'm still getting used to it.
Never forget you're on the camera.
Never forget.
Truman Show, man. Okay, Alan. Let's go through on this one. So this is a bit of a fun news piece. So Jack Harlow, what's popping? Hopefully not the bubble. Lou Williams getting chicken at Magic. Is it Magic City?
Yeah, Magic City.
So I don't know of any other player that has like mischievously broken the bubble. I know Bruno went to get an Uber. He went to get some food.
Creatine.
It was a poo. Yeah, we went to get a poutine.
No, it was creatine. It was protein powder, not poutine.
Yeah, I know. He went to
Canadian way is poutine.
Yeah, he went to grab a poutine, and but it wasn't like OG cheese curds. So he was like, actually, sorry, you came all this way. Yeah, so Zion went back for his family. Harrell went back for his family as well. Lou Williams was in a strip club. Alan,
he was going for a funeral as well while he was out to be.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. And that actually is a super important part of it. And, it is the context is important here. Yeah. So Alan, what do you think about that? Like, or is it just as far as the players being in the bubble and then one person breaking it? And then what do you think an appropriate action to that is?
That's the thing. I don't know. I don't think fining them is the right thing, but like, it was silly. I think him, like, yes, I think he had to go out for the funeral, but like that's stopping to get food at these places. And of all places, like a contact strip club, and then to be photographed too. It just screams like just lack of responsibility. And just seeing him respond to those tweets where he's just like, yo, 15 years, this is all you can get on me. I'm like, no, but dude, you're in a bubble. You understand what you're doing. You're putting not just like your health at risk. You're putting the entire league at risk, all the players, all the people who are attached to this when you do things like that. And it was just kind of silly for him to just like kind of go, whatever, just a small kind of thing. But it's like, don't you have handlers to get something like that? I don't know, there must be a different way to get that type of food into like the bubble. If that's something you desperately need, if this was some type of ode to like some type of past relationship or friendship that you had with that person or something like that. But I don't know. I don't think fine is the thing. I think, definitely just, I like how they swiftly did the quarantine and kind of kept him away from the rest of the squad. Mm-hmm. And you just hope that players don't kind of break it more often as these next 3 months go ahead.
Yeah. So I think it's a good point on the fine. Like I've never really, I think since I've been an NBA fan, I was never really happy to see someone get fined ever. And I think that's moved on to, I'm fairly anti-fine. because I think there's just a lot of problematic issues to going after a player's paycheck. It's particularly within the league and kind of how incentives are structured around money, and contracts, are sometimes vague in terms of like decorum and what's expected, particularly in terms of like behavior. So I'm fairly anti-fine. I think that will send the wrong message. But I'm pretty pro quarantine and pro not compromising any type of safety, which I think that the NBA will do. But I mean, I don't know. Like I don't know if I would be opposed to like a regular season game suspension type thing, but I guess that amounts to money as well.
Well, I think even if they miss a game, I feel like if they break this during when the season starts, they're gonna be missing some games. So I think it definitely does come down to it. So I don't know, maybe down the line, do you add another game later on? Like, once okay, your quarantine's over, but you still have to miss like a game within the thing, just to kind of get it through their heads. Like this is serious,
Yeah, right. And then there's also the other angle, which I feel is like, this is such an insane scenario and it's so difficult. And the players are being asked to do so much. I think who knows what's going to happen with the NFL, but we've already seen how the MLB is doing it and some of the problems that are arising there with the Miami Marlins. Yeah. But I think to keep this thing functioning at the highest level, you really need the buy-in of all of the players. So I think to come down on Lou Williams in a really aggressive fashion might not be the right move, because you want to keep this thing safe and you want to be, I hope that it's a bit more like, are you aware of what your mistake is? And then if he can not prove that, but I think it's important that everybody understands that.
An acknowledgement is what you hope.
McCready, where are you at this Lou Will bubble break? Do you think it has big ramifications, or it's just a funny story, or what?
Yeah, as long as he doesn't test positive, it doesn't have any long-term ramifications. I think pretty much everything Alan said, I kind of agree with. And I think the punishment kind of makes sense. The punishment is you have to go, you are quarantining for the maximum amount of time that they deem is a way to ensure safety, because, it's to look at it as, under Lou Williams's guise of I just dropped in to grab some wings and left. It seems a little excessive, but at the same time, we don't know exactly everything that happened on this trip at this point.
That's right.
We don't know if he was there a little bit longer. We don't know if he did other things, because he kind of lost the benefit of the doubt in terms of where his story is at. So I don't know. I feel like for everyone's safety, for him to quarantine until he's better or not better, but confirmed to be not a threat to anyone else is pretty practical. And that's all. I don't think you necessarily have to give anyone any games, but if anyone does that again, you're quarantining for 10 days. If you are quarantining for 10 days, once the games start playing, you're going to miss 4 games at least.
Mm.
Yeah, no, I guess just the sheer logistical nature of what's going on is almost like punishment enough. And yeah, if you're caught messing around, then it's kind of like, well, sorry, you just kind of shot yourself in the foot. And it's interesting too, because he is a vital part of a contending team, Sorry. But okay. Last question, last NBA question. We'll stick with you, McCready. Right. So this, I think, is a fun one, and they can be different people as well. Who did you forget about? You forgot that they existed, and then when the bubble came back, you're like, oh my God, them. And also, who are you happiest to see again on camera? And they can be the same person or different people.
It's kind of the same. And we talked about him earlier. I didn't imagine the Bowl was going to factor into anything this year at all. I had kind of forgotten the Bowl existed. He is the perfect NBA 2K player because he is so tall, and tall is so important in that game.
Yep.
And he's mobile and he can shoot 3. So he's exactly everything that you want. Michael Porter looking great, Bull looking great. I think we talked about earlier how, or Freddie, you mentioned that whichever team is the healthiest will go the furthest in this bubble. And I think depth is very important. Yep. Denver didn't have the greatest of depth, but now if those two are, I don't know if I'd trust Bull in a playoff series, but at least something serviceable, something interesting, something different that you could pull out in a playoff series if you get desperate. That's something that's advantageous to Denver. So maybe Bull is my answer to both those questions.
Okay, that's those are both good answers. Alan, what about you? Who is someone you kind of you forgot existed?
Yeah,
and then who's someone you were happy to see?
I think going back to that Portland game, just seeing Nurkic and then Whiteside beside each other. I'm like, yeah. It was a double. Oh yeah. I was like, yeah, Nurkic is on that team. Like, oh yeah, Hassan Whiteside. I'm like, oh, that's not going to work out. I'm like, having these two, I saw Nurkic working on that three, trying to extend his range. I'm like, they're just going to clog up, that key, and they don't have enough time to figure out their high-low actions. They're never going to know who's where. They're not going to feed off each other. They're pretty much just very superfluous as far as what they do. And it would just kind of funny to see that kind of redundancy out there.
I remember on a Raptors home opener years ago, the Raptors played the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they had just acquired Shaq. And they started this lineup that was Shaquille at center and Zydrunas Ilgauskas at power forward. And the Raptors ran away with it. Bargnani had a huge game, and everyone felt great about the Raptors for 24 hours.
I mean, that makes perfect sense because that lineup is downright insane.
Oh, yeah.
Although, it was Ilgauskas could shoot the three, although I think it might have been pre-analytics era. So Ilgauskas might have been legit, just standing on the line, hitting long twos for 7 years.
Most likely. And who are they going to defend? Ilgauskas and Shaq, against Bosch in his prime when his speed was outrageous.
Yeah, totally. Prime Bosch was absolutely ballistic. Okay. Yeah. My answer for this question is kind of like a double injury return. So one is actually Nurkic, and not because he picked a fight with Serge, but I just really like that Nurkic. I don't know. It's nice that not only is the gruesome leg injury healed, but also at the same time, he's kind of back and being feisty. And I thought it was just nice to watch someone's kind of after all this time, use this opportunity to release their competitive spirit. So that was fun, even though it was kind of in a chippy bully way. That's
Nurkic's game as well.
Yeah, exactly. Right. He wants, part of his game is he's I kind of elbow people and shoulder them. And I'm so excited to do that again. Which to me was kind of just fun. And then I think the other one was just seeing kind of the first game the Raptors played, seeing Kyle, he was the person who made me the happiest, seeing him talk to Russ and James, and actually even seeing Mike D'Antoni was kind of nice. That very first game, I had a lot of feelings because it was just nice to see, I don't know, all these really kind of guys that I thought would D'Antoni was someone who I thought might legit be I can't come. So yeah, I think that's where I'm at. Let's do some quickish questions. I know Alan had to step away for a sec, but I feel like he'll hop back on in the quickish questions, right?
Oh yeah,
sure. I can't speak for him, but yeah.
You know what? He'll when he knows the time's right, he'll be back.
Great.
But if you're down, McCready, we'll fire some up, and Duncan will fire. I got to make sure to keep using Duncan and McCready.
Yeah, please.
That's going to be big for the flow of this. But let's move on to some quickish questions.
Quickish questions.
Yeah.
Okay,
Doodle-doo-doo.
this is amazing. Shout out to McCready for opening up Quickish Questions to the Toronto improv community. Which has made this segment much more explosive. So yeah, we should have a healthy dose of fun Quickish Questions. Alan knows how it works. So if he comes back, he'll hop right in. I think I heard him. Wait, did I hear him? Alan, is that you?
I think so.
He's back, baby. Okay,
I don't know what I'm looking at.
Quickish Questions. Yeah. You're looking at a version of like Alan. It kind of looks like the Michael Jackson, like Back Against the Wall cover. But okay, let's go. Alan, McCready, Duncan. Sound good?
All right.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Okay. So Alan, you're first up. Oh wait, you know what? I got to do my shitty explanation. I'm going to stutter. I'm going to slur. I'm going to be unclear. That's okay. You have to answer the question as quick as humanly possible. Don't phone a friend, Matt Duncan.
All right.
No stall. Okay. No stall.
Oh,
Matt
shit.
You watch how Matt Duncan does it.
Yeah, I am a bit of a staller.
Like
I'm a bit of a staller.
I'm going to be like Jerry Lawler in Memphis in 1985, just nonstop stalling. I won't get anything started.
Honestly, I really appreciate the age of that reference. Okay,
yeah, that reference is for nobody in the world. Enjoy.
That reference is for like I messed up my own joke. I was gonna say the famous comedian, but I could only think of the man who played Gollum, Andy Serkis. Who's the famous comedian who fought Jerry Lawler? Andy
Kaufman.
Andy Kaufman.
Andy Serkis. Oh my god.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. Quick Questions is off to just a huge start. Andy Serkis, Andy Kaufman. Who knows who's more relevant, right?
They could be the same person. You never know.
It's true.
Honestly, Kaufman would do that, and so would Serkis. So.
Does it count as stalling if I answer all my questions as Gollum?
No, that just counts as like a hardcore Tolkien fan, and someone should fly you down to Hobbiton, New Zealand. Check it out.
All right, I'm into it.
Okay, here we go. Alan, OG and Nick Nurse just celebrated their birthdays. What birthday present would you give them?
Monogram towels with their initials on them.
That's a great
OGA
present.
and NN. That'd be cool.
Ooh. Okay, McCready. If you were in charge, how would you design the Raptors background video board? What will it show when the Raptors make a bucket, win a game, etc.?
It'll show. Oh wow, that's a great question. It will show Doug Christie highlights from the 16 and 58 Raptor season.
Good, yeah. And this one's coming for Duncan.
Okay.
And it's actually for you.
Oh wow.
How much wood burgers would a woodchuck Hayes chuck if a woodchuck Hayes could chuck wood? Burgers.
Wow. Wow. Thank you for that question. And I would say
I fucking hate the Toronto improv community, Mike.
I would say it's going to be just one burger or woodchuck or whatever it is. But here's the thing. It's a weighted sandwich. If you've ever heard of how they do that. So it's a very massive, huge burger where they put a weight on it and shrink it down. So it's just like a little bite-sized thing. But it's got, 8,000 calories.
Slowest answer, but weirdest answer. So honestly, you win. Okay, Alan, what food would you violate the bubble for? Did you see those Magic City wings?
I did see those wings, and then a part of me was like, I sort of get it. I sort of get what that was about. That was like that lemon pepper sauce. Maybe those wings. Yeah, bring those on.
Wait, what? Wait, would you leave the bubble for the same thing Lou Williams left it for?
I would do it like Montrezl Harrell, and I'll meet the Uber Eats guy at the gate. But then I would I should have just left anyways. That same type of thing where I would like try to go right at the edge of the bubble, get my stuff, and then they'd be like, "Hey, what's going on?" I'd be like, "Yeah, you caught me red-handed."
Oh, I like that. So you have like an exit plan. Like I wasn't gonna go all the way to Magic City.
I didn't see no picture. It's not as bad.
Okay, McCready. Here's the funny part. We're just starting the Toronto improv community. So that other hilarious question, just a classic COD question.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's actually legit going to get silly now. Here we go.
Great.
Which basketball player feels like the best role model? Also, who's your favorite bad boy?
Oh, wow. Who's my favorite bad boy? Does that go outside of basketball as well? Because I might have to answer like one of the Coreys or something. Best basketball role model. Shane Battier. Go back in the day. He always seemed like a really nice guy who had everything kind of put together. Played the game the right way. Handsome and tall. I guess that's a lot of players. And the bad boy, well, I'll have to go back all the way to 1979. Continental Wrestling, Larry Zbyszko. Always poking eyes and causing trouble.
God damn you, Zbyszko. Okay, Duncan.
Yes.
How do you feel about Space Jam 2?
I'll be honest with you. I still haven't gotten through Space Jam 1. So,
whoa,
yeah.
Controversy.
So I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to feel.
Yeah.
Favorite dunk or play of all time?
Favorite dunk, in game or anywhere?
There's no specificity in the question, so it's all you, man.
Ooh, I think dunk of death probably, or the other Vince Carter dunk when he dunked on Alonzo Mourning, where he just scooped it around his back and just bodied him. Something about that was just like the transference of energy and physics, and it was just a beautiful thing to watch. Just poetry.
McCready.
Yep.
What is basketball?
What is basketball? Basketball is a way of life.
Correct. Duncan, if you were to add anything to the Orlando bubble, what would you add? Restaurants, animals, etc.
Wow, they don't have all this stuff in the bubble? I thought they're at Disneyland. Okay. Well, I would, I would add, obviously, if they're leaving the bubble and they're willing to risk their lives for chicken wings at a strip club, let's get that strip club in the bubble here.
Oh, I like how your voice went high. That was good. That was good.
Yeah, you were like a dad announcing that we were going to McDonald's.
Yeah.
And then we're going to DQ. The whole minivan goes crazy. Alan, if you were stuck in the jungle and in his physical prime Shaq were hunting you like the Predator, like Arnold, or where Arnold was being hunted by the Predator, how would you fight back?
I'd put myself 10 feet away like a free throw. And I'd cut a ditch, and he'd have to get me just through like a slight chuck of some type of weapon, and he couldn't do it. It'd be too much for him.
I like that. And then you'd suggest like I could teach you underhand, and he'd be like, no. McCready, if you could change any rule in basketball, which rule would you change and why?
Oh, a non-silly question. I would change the charge rule. I would change it so the player has to be set before the other player takes off from the ground. I know it's upon like point of the player has to be stopped by point of collision, but I feel like it's dangerous. I feel like it's not a real basketball play, and I feel like it penalizes in a way players that can dunk from far away from the basket, and we don't want to do that.
Fair.
Wow.
Duncan, what's your odds on the Raptors going back to back?
Well, I want to give them really good odds, Freddie. Okay, so I'm going to say 4-1.
Okay. Alan, if the Raptors could add any Disney character to their starting five, who would have maximum impact? No superheroes.
Goofy. That length? Woof.
Ooh, yeah, good. I like that.
Big hands
got
too.
Some Rodman in him.
Yeah.
Okay, McCready.
Yes.
If it's called basketball, then why are there clearly no baskets or balls?
Pass.
Friend. Okay. Folks, you just got to pass on that question, which means your question was too jokey. Okay. McCready, should the applause-o-meter have stretch goals which physically impact the court?
The applause-o-meter should have. Sorry, I'm not understanding this question.
I read it very poorly. Should the applause-o-meter
Yes.
have stretch goals which physically impact the court? I don't know what stretch goals is.
Like, does it stretch like the rim to make the ball easy, like the basket larger?
I guess I just don't know what a stretch goal is.
I'm regretting using my pass. Yes, the answer is yes. It should have stretch goals.
Correct. Duncan, why haven't they figured out how to set the balls on fire mid-game like an NBA Jam? That came out in the 90s and we're still waiting.
Well, they have to. They're still working on the gloves that players are gonna have to wear to handle the ball, which they.
The glove technology. Why
It's
doesn't
the
this guy get it? Okay, Alan. Who is the toughest guy in the NBA?
Robert Tractor Trailer.
Correct.
R.I.P. Tractor Trailer. Still the toughest man alive.
McCready, which
Yes.
Raptor would you put forth in the toughest guy in the NBA competition?
Well, I mean, if James Johnson was still on a team, I'd put him in. I guess Ibaka. It has to be Ibaka, right? That guy wants to fight everybody. Tough background. Yeah, Ibaka. I wouldn't want to fight Ibaka. He'd be the last guy I want to fight.
Hell yeah. Duncan, is there or is there not a rule that says dogs can't play basketball?
Is there a rule or is there not a rule?
Or is there not?
I don't think there is. I think that's. I think they can. There's no rule against dogs playing basketball.
Hell yeah. Alan, which lineup would you rather have all in their Raptors prime, not career prime or another team? We got sorry, I gotta extend this question. Kawhi, McGrady, Stoudemire, Siakam, Antonio Davis versus Vince, DeMar, Kyle, Bosch, Ibaka. Raptors primes.
Raptors primes? Ooh, Team A.
Team A?
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I thought you said like Timmy or something. I was like, who's Timmy?
His classic South Park impersonation.
Towley. I'm so bad at South Park. Okay, here we go. McCready.
Yes.
What will OG put Serge on next?
Oh, because he's put him on scarves and what else did he put him on? Hats?
I think put him on hats, scarves, lots of stuff.
I think the Amazing Race. They'll be an amazing team and they'll win.
They would be such a good team.
I'd love it.
Duncan, was Lou in it for the chicken or the nudity?
No, he's in it. The chicken must be really good there. I keep hearing that strip clubs have like people go there for food. So I think these chicken wings were worth it.
Okay.
Also, like Magic City's like notoriously like one of like the bigger strip clubs within the African American experience. So it's like him going to like what's it? Was it Table 5? Or what's the one in Toronto? That the Real Sport. Yeah, Real Sports, but like times 1,000.
Right.
Oh wow.
So it's like it's a good spot to be at, like especially if you're Lou Williams.
It's like, oops, the chicken there happened to be really amazing. Yeah, but you also went there for the atmosphere. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I think so.
Is Alan? I think it's you next.
Yeah.
Okay, this one's a bit of a monologue. So I'm just gonna read you the end here, and it's just in relation to Kyle Lowry in general. So he's just this person just going through all the little kind of intricate, cool, smart Kyle things, and then he asks, "Is he Kyle a crafty genius, or is this writer just kind of overthinking all of the amazing stuff that Kyle does?"
Oh, Kyle's of course a crafty genius. He's the craftiest genius Mighty Mouse powerhouse mitochondria type basketball player we got in this league, and we're lucky to have him.
Wow, that's an action-packed answer. McCready.
Yes.
Remember NBA Jam? Please share a memory.
I was reminded of it earlier.
Please share a memory of someone you played that with as a kid. Was the kid weird, not weird? Did he come over just to play your video game? Vice versa, etc.
Unfortunately, when I was playing NBA Jam, I didn't have a friend to come over. I was in French immersion. I lived out of area from all the other kids, and I rented in the summer. And I didn't have any friends. So the answer is myself. I played against me, and I was weird.
Cheers. That's a very real answer.
Very real, very sad.
But you know what? You've grown up to be the best goddamn overhead 30% shooter in the world. So, Duncan.
Yes.
I won't say their full name because I don't want to get them in any danger. But Nicole says, "Who do you know that has a crush on me?"
On Freddie?
Nope, on them. So someone you don't know, who do you know who has a crush on them?
Oh, God. I'd like to pass this one to Matt McCready.
Okay.
Feel like you might have a better...
The only people, I guess I know Freddie Rivas has a crush on Nicole Passmore.
Right. Yes.
Oh.
Different Nicole's though, you know, so we'll never know. Okay. I think Alan, we got a couple more questions here. Yeah, 3 more exactly. So, Alan, do refs still cheat?
No, everyone cheats.
Cheers. McCready, is Matt Thomas's 3-point prowess worth putting him on the floor even though he's a mediocre defender? Should he play decent minutes in the bubble?
I think against the right matchup, yes. If the other team has a player that, if the other team has a player like OG Anunoby, who you can kind of put him on, but you don't necessarily have to worry about him creating, or him creating isn't the worst poison, then yeah, you could put Matt Thomas out there a bit. I don't think he should start, but I think he could definitely do some damage when Mark or Kyle are on the floor and can take advantage of his crafty shooting. Okay, I like it. Last question, Duncan.
Oh boy.
Who would win in a basketball one-on-one? Justin Timberlake or JC Chasez? Chasez? I had to Google who that was. Also in NSYNC.
Oh, okay. JC?
Yeah, JC. I guess they have full names.
Is that the guy with the hair and instant? Which one's that? It's
basically, the way I think about this question is, who would win in a one-on-one competition? Justin Timberlake or one of the other members?
Yeah, no, I think I'll go with JT.
Yeah, JT. Come on, right? Like, we don't even know the other guy's name.
I still want to know who that guy is.
Google him. I did.
America's Best Dance Crew judge, seasons 1 to 3. Are we?
Oh man, okay, we know who you're voting for.
Wait, sorry, Alan. I mean, yes, what a good judge. Buddies, that's the pod. Thank you so much for doing it. Alan,
thank you for having me.
No problem, man. Alan, I'll go to you first. What's up in your life? What's going on? Where can people, we'll plug your stuff, but what do you want people to know right now?
I got that other pod, Below the Hardwood guys. We're going to have you on. We do these fantasy franchise drafts. So kind of like that question that you gave me there with like scenario wise, who's the better Raptor team? We did one of those.
Amazing. So where can people find that?
You can find that on Spotify, iHeartRadio, I believe Bandcamp, pressbasketball.ca. You can find everything on there too as well.
Sweet.
Search it up. Find me on socials, the Alan Shane on Twitter and Alan Shane on Instagram.
Were there any major controversies in you've done the all-time Raptors so far, right?
Yeah. There was a Leandro Barbosa moment where,
ooh,
yeah, where he kind of went up high, and the rest of the participants were just like, okay, all right, that's we're happy.
I listened to that podcast, and I have to say, Alan, I think your team could take it.
I think so. I think I did a good job looking at stats, and by stats I meant just went to points. And I looked at people in their eyes, and think I got a well balanced team. Hakeem running the show.
The big stat compared to all the other stats, points.
You know what? Daryl Morey will tell you that's not important, but I say it's important.
McCready, what's up? What are you doing? What do you got going on?
I mean, honestly, these days I'm mostly listening to Alan's podcast. I would check it out. It's very good. Honestly, nothing is happening in my life right now. I'm kind of enjoying my first year of retirement, stealing a year away from my mid 70s, and just kind of trying to stay healthy.
Yeah, that's my big thing too.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to stay healthy, virus free, all that. Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, yeah, that's it for the pod. Everyone share, subscribe. The next pod is going to come at you with some actual meaningful games under the belt. So, things are going to pick up, and me and Matt Dunkey will be making some fun announcements soon. And for sure, go check out Alan's pod. We'll make sure to post that as well. Mm-hmm. But Matty Duncan, if you feel like we're good to go, why don't you give me the sweet okay words?
Okay.
Give me okay.
Okay.
Hello? Can anyone around here speak basketball?
There it is.
It's the Confederacy of Dunks Basketball Podcast.